You know, don't you just hate anime tropes sometimes? You know, I really do hate anime tropes. Like, really bad. Anyways, guys, back at it. Camfrey 15 with another video for you guys talking Dragon Quest Adventure of Dai. Yes, my co-host isn't back. I thought he would, but actually I have gotten in contact with him. Right now it's he's out indefinitely for future videos on the channel till he figures out what he has to do with his life and stuff like that in terms of his moving process. Internet issues is plaguing him right now, but I guess it will be a surprise when he comes back. But anyways, I really wish he was here this week, and damn it, I really did wish he was here this week. But yes, Dragon Quest Adventure of Dai episode 70. We get the fight between Popp and Sigma, and then obviously a majority part of this episode was Popp and Maam expressing their feelings for one another. And although I will say I like the difference in approach to the typical cliche romance bullshit you typically would get in this scene and in this episode, they did go a different direction, which is still pretty unique, but at the same time, it gives you a stupid, I guess you could say, anime cliche that we always typically see in anime, especially the shonen shows. But if you were anime only and you were thinking that we were gonna get that kiss moment, either we're gonna have to wait a few more weeks later after this whole thing is all said and done, or actually, hold on a quick second, guys. Hold on a quick second. Okay, back. Yes. So, anyways, this is Dragon Quest episode 70 review. Let's get into it. Now, obviously, we know this episode is about Popp and Sigma. Now, Popp ends up fighting Sigma, but the attacks he's using against Sigma, they're being easily reflected. So Popp truly isn't doing any damage. Now, Sigma reflects an attack back at Popp. Popp gets flown back. Sigma's actually kind of shocked. He's like, "Are you even a human?" And Popp's obviously like, "Yeah, of course I'm a human." He's like, "Oh, I'm actually pretty shocked that you keep getting back up. You're pretty resilient. Humans typically aren't that, but hey, I'm getting a good challenge," and stuff like that. He also starts to understand, finally, we get a freaking villain that finally understands Popp is actually pretty damn dangerous if you mess with him and stuff like that. And you got to be careful around him. Anyways, what happens is Popp tries, essentially is like, yeah, but he ends up coming with a plan. He uses his black rod or whatever, and he manages to catch Sigma off guard. He essentially takes off the reflecting part of his body, as well as traps his right arm, and dang near looks like he's gonna beat him. And I'm like, oh, Popp actually put it in work. This is what I'm talking about. Now he ends up trying to use Meteora. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I don't care. And he's kind of shocked that, well, Sigma's not like, you know, your typical anime villain where they're like, no, you know, and stuff like that. But he's like, why are you not shocked and everything? And essentially Sigma's like, well, you see, you probably should have gone for my other hand because I got you. Essentially, his right hand detaches. His right hand detaches, and he charges in. He does his attack where he puts his hand on it, and he attacks Popp. And he goes on to make the mention this attack is Lightning Buster. And essentially, we find out Lightning Buster is a bunch of boom spells being attacked throughout the insides of your body, and stuff like that. And it takes Popp down. And it's supposed to be a move that Popp was supposed to die or be at least very badly wounded to the point that bones in his body would have been broken. But Popp ends up, you know, healing himself with his full heal spell he obviously learned like literally a few episodes ago. And Sigma's obviously shocked by that, and he's like, "You have the power of a sage, don't you?" And Pop's like, "Don't call me that. I'm not no sage." And we get a flashback back to when Pop was training with Matroviv, and the whole aspect of Matroviv was like, "Yeah, I may have the power of a sage, but I didn't like being called that. It's kind of bland and boring, to be honest. So I call myself Grand Sorcerer." And this is the moment where, and I thought it was a pretty badass moment. This is the moment when Pop's like, "I'm not a sage. I'm Grand Sorcerer Pop. You call me Grand Sorcerer from this point on now." And I'm like, yes, that's a badass line right there. Great. Excuse me. And stuff like that. Anyways, the fight continues on. He fires up a Meteora spell, and he's like, "Listen, I'm about to end you right now," and stuff like that. And essentially, it's a back and forth type of fight where, the whole thing is, obviously, whoever gets hit is going to lose. Now, it gets to the point where Pop fires the spell off. Sigma ends up dodging it because it's not like he's going to let him freaking get hit on. The attack essentially hits the metal reflecting thing. Sigma tries to do a Raditz on Goku. Puts him in, I forgot what type of lock that is. But puts him in that type of lock. And then it looks like it's right as it's going to reflect. Mom shows up, it reflects. Sigma pushes Pop in, he gets hit by the attack. And Sigma's like, "You are a worthy adversary, but I have defeated you," and stuff like that. But you see throughout the flames, Pop is getting back up and he's not dying. And this shocks Sigma out. And essentially, Pop comes out of the smoke and fire, fires a Meteora spell off, and he takes out Sigma and defeats him. We end up after we come back from the break, the eye catcher break. We find out that what happened was Pop kind of fooled out Sigma. He essentially used a sizzle spell that looked like Meteora. And because of it, when it reflected, it didn't really do much damage, if anything. And he fires up the true spell, it took him out and stuff like that. And essentially the head of Sigma's like, "You got me. You are a worthy opponent. I will never forget you, Grand Sorcerer Pop." And I thought it was pretty cool, the fact that, at the end of the day, Pop and Sigma had respect for each other. I definitely did like that. That was cool. Again, Sigma was definitely, to me, it felt like out of all the Royal Guard members, definitely from this episode alone, sounds like he was the most honorable one out of the bunch, and the one that easily can get can find respect in his opponents and stuff like that compared to the others and stuff like that. Anyways, this is when we get a majority of the back half of this episode, and it's between Popp and Mom and how they express their feelings for one another. Now, we end up having Pop finally tell Mom to his face, even though he told her like a few episodes ago that he loves her. But he tells her to her face that he loves her. Obviously, Mom blushes, and I'm over here sitting on my freaking couch, literally sitting on my chair back here that I'm sitting on, and I'm like, oh my goodness, we're gonna get the moment. Mom's gonna realize she's truly in love with Pop. They're gonna have a moment. We might get a fucking kiss this week. We might get a kiss. Yes! Finally, something that will change the mold with shonen shows. A kiss! Damn it, I don't care. If it's on the cheek or on the lips, we're gonna get a kiss. And I'm over here just wondering like, oh, good God, man. This is gonna be wonderful. So he goes on to explain some more, and he goes on to say, like, the reason why I was kind of feeling the way I felt a few days ago was because I was scared. And he's referring to his insignia of Yvonne not lighting up. Essentially saying he was afraid that he was going to be alone, or he was scared to be alone, especially with what's going on in the insignia, the fact that everybody else's insignia was lighting up, and he was the only one that wasn't lighting up, and he felt like he was alone, and he was scared of letting his friends down, as well as, he's already had this whole typical image of the fact how, he sees Mom and Die on like these crazy high pedestals that he's not on, and he goes on to say like, what if someone ever told me like I'm not fit to be with you guys because I'm just a weak human and you guys have dang near crazy combat experience and you guys are stronger than me and stuff like that. And he goes on to say, but because of you being always able to pick me up and encourage me and be there for me when I need you to be, that's the part that I fell in love with you about the most. That was the part. This shocks mom. Obviously, this gets mom obviously like, oh, he really loves me and stuff like that. So I'm like, yes, progress. Popp got it off his chest. He expressed everything. I'm like, listen, I know it'd be so weird, but fuck it. Just let mom just say, I'm in love with you too, Popp. And, you know, Popp looks like he's going to run off, but mom's like, I'm not, don't you want to hear my answer? So she continues this talk, and I'm over here sitting on my edge of the seat. I'm like, we're going to get a kiss. We're going to get a kiss. We're going to get a fucking kiss. Let's go, bitch. And she starts her line saying, I love you, Popp. And I'm like, let's go. Yes. Now say why you love him and why you fell in love with him and everything. And then we can all end this off of a big miraculous kiss. Now the thing is, she kind of she deciphers what type of love she is here. Now, if you were thinking she's gonna say, oh, I'm in love with you and everything, well, you're wrong. Yeah, she's in love with him. Like, she even says, like, I'm in love with Hugh Nickel in a way. But essentially, you can say Popp some seemingly kind of got friend zoned here from this one statement alone. And after I heard this line, I'm like, fuck. And what I meant by that is she essentially said she loves Popp, but she loves him in the eyes as of a little brother. And after that, I'm like, she friend zoned his ass. Anyways, essentially what mom was trying to tell Popp this entire time is the fact that she's very conflicted with her feelings right now because she doesn't know how to feel about Hugh Nickel and doesn't know how to feel about her or him. And she's like, I don't understand, like, you know, when Miss Amy and this other girl, I forgot the other girl she mentioned, and then obviously Miss Amy, Amy, Flora, and even Albanos. They all had love, you know, for someone because they cared about said person and they truly did love him at the end of the day. We know Amy's in love with Hugh Nickel. We know Flora was in love with Yvonne, and we know, I'm guessing, Albanos was in love with Hadlar. I guess if you want to spin it like that. Okay. And essentially mom's saying, listen, I don't know how I could feel like that where, you know, I am in love with someone, I'm infatuated with someone, and stuff like that. And she goes on to say that she really truly doesn't understand what really true love means. She only understands the love of friends and stuff like that. She doesn't understand like love where you're like literally, you know, crazy about someone and that's the one person you can see yourself with and stuff like that. Now, she goes on to say to Popp, listen, I can't give you this answer yet because of this battle, because I don't know what's going to happen to us and everything. But after it, I promise you, I'll give you my answer. When I can see you as a man, and everything, maybe then I can have a different perspective of things, and then I can give you my feelings. And I'm like, this is just in a rude way of you saying, I don't know how to feel about you, so let's just stay friends for now. But she does go on to say how she kind of in a way has fallen for Popp from the standpoint that, you know, all the fights he's had in the past and the fights he's grown, that's what in a way attracted her to him. And she says, whether I love you or Hugh Nickel, I'm just need to figure out my feelings. And I'm like, oh, brother. Damn it. And I'm like, we're not going to get this freaking kiss that I wanted to see. But then Popp is like, one, he goes in to say how he's happy that he heard the answer from Mom, because he said that's the best answer I could possibly get. And listen, yeah, I guess you can say that's the best answer a girl could give you, because it's like, she says she likes you a lot, but at the same time she has to figure those feelings out, and she said she'd get back to you at that. But it's like, it's still kind of like, but bro, she still friend-zoned you. But anyways, Pop is like, listen, let me just have this one moment, and let me just take advantage of this one moment. And she's like, what are you talking about? He grabs her shoulder, and I'm like, no shit, they're gonna do it. He's gonna kiss her. Oh yes, let's go. I'm like, we're getting a kiss. It's about to be my thumbnail. When they show it, I'm gonna be marking the hell out. Pop's gonna at least get his kiss. I'll take it, damn it. Who knows? Maybe she might fall for it. Maybe she might kiss him back. But if you watch shonen shows and typical shonen shows, when it comes to these relationships, it's very rare you see kisses amongst these shonen shows. Yeah, sometimes in these shonen shows they have kisses and stuff like that between two characters that are main characters. But here, sadly, we get the typical shonen joke trope where we're just gonna keep that a thing not going. We're not gonna show it yet, or we're just gonna fool the audience thinking you're gonna get a kiss. Oh no! Essentially, Pop looks like he's gonna go in for a kiss. He tells her to listen, close your eyes, and everything. It's gonna be very quick. And you know, Mom's getting all flustered and everything. She's like, whoa, wait. And then she ends up start closing her eyes, and then I'm like, yes. And then Pop just grabs her nose. I thought it was gonna be Mom gonna push him off or something, or do something where she's gonna not want it, and I'm like, damn it, come on. But no, you get a twist where the guy kind of stops himself from kissing the girl, even though he has a complete opportunity to do it, and he kind of just pushes down on her nose. He's like, haha, I fooled you. You really thought I was gonna kiss you. I didn't even have the balls to do that, and more importantly, you close your eyes, so maybe that means you do like me like that. So that means you did want me to kiss you. Oh, Mom, I know you. She beats his ass, and then she's dragging him to where Dai, Leon, and Hunical are. And obviously, he's like, oh, please, shut the fuck up. And I'm like, really? Really? They end up meeting up with the gang. Dai's continuing his fight with Hadlar, and seemingly it's going to be the final battle between Hadlar and Dai for this story, and that's where the episode ends off. And that's the episode? This episode effing sucked! No, I'm just playing. No, this episode was really freaking good. I enjoyed this episode so much. It was good. I did love the Pop versus Sigma battle. And even the respect between the two opponents. I really did enjoy Popp and Maam finally getting this off their chest, expressing their feelings and stuff like that. Now, I will say this. In terms of Mom, would it have been a cliche plot point to just have it to where, after Pop says his feelings and gets it all up, it's just he expresses it all. Girl, typically what you typically see that could be a cliche is you do this, you see it all the time in different movies and other animes and stuff, where guy gets all this huge courage and pressure to tell this girl he loves that he loves her and all the reasons and stuff like that. Typically a cliche in obviously entertainment is girl just magically just falls in love with him after he just expresses his heart. They don't do that cliche. I like that. I'm fine. I'm honestly, I like it. You know, in my hardest of hearts, I don't like how this resolved from the standpoint Mom is going to give the generic BS answer. I'm in love with you, but I'm really not in love with you. I need to find my feelings. But, you know, when I look back at it as just being a person who's reviewing this and seeing this, Dragon Quest Adventure of Dai went away from the trope. The author of the series went away from the cliche trope of having mom just listen to Pop's speech, and then she's like, I'm in love with you too, Pop. And you have your kiss moment, and you have it to where, oh, they're together. Author does something different here. He goes away from the cliche, and he actually makes it to where mom is just conflicted with her feelings, and she loves Pop, but she only loves him like as a platonic type of friend way. She doesn't see him, like she said, as a man, where she has legit love for her. And even though in my heart, I hate that because I think it's a bullshit ass reason, to be honest. Just say you just don't like the guy instead of stringing Pop along. I'd rather have a lot more respect if you say that. But personally, that's real life shit right there. You'd rather have a girl just tell you, I don't like you like that. I'm sorry. I like you as a dude and a friend and think you're cool. You're just not my type. But here, they made it a way where it's like, okay, we're not going to completely rule out that mom doesn't want to potentially hook up with Pop. But we'll leave that open-ended. I really do hope when this final battle's done, we get a legit conclusion to this, and we have a moment in either the final episode, because I don't know if they're gonna go farther past this Dark King Burn battle and stuff like that, because I did hear apparently there's more in the story of the manga and stuff like that. If I'm wrong, please put that in the comment section, and stuff like that. I want a conclusion where we get another alone moment with Pop and Mom. They talk it out, and maybe Mom says, you know, I do love you. Now, would that be completely 180 turn? Yeah, but listen, it is what it is. Personally, if you ask me, it really did feel like the author wrote himself into a corner because, again, like I said, I have to play this out because remember, I don't read the manga of this. I'm watching this from a week-to-week show basis. And obviously, me and my co-host would say the relationship angle in this, outside of Dai and Leona, is the most complicated love triangle, quadruple square I've seen in a long time. Because you got Pop that loves Mom, only for Mom to apparently love Hugh Nickel, for Amy to love Hugh Nickel, but Hugh Nickel doesn't truly like either of the two, to be honest. But then again, maybe he likes Mom because he kind of somewhat showed that last week. But then you have Meryl that loves Pop, and it's like, what the hell's going on here? So I'll say this. I do like the fact that they went away from typical cliche route of Mom just falling high over heels for Pop. Because honestly, you know, as much as I would have loved to see that, it would have been a complete bullshit ass reason, like why you're conflicted when you first get here. And you've been conflicted ever since Pop confessed on the ground floor of the battlefield and stuff like that. And guess what? Now you're in love with him. So yeah, I will say this. I like the fact that Mom says, listen, I'm not ready yet to tell you, because right now we're in the heat of the moment. We're in the heat of battle right now. I don't know if we're going to make it through this, but I do like the fact that she says, let me get some time to think about this, and then I'll get back to you later now. Albeit, if, you know, whether she chooses Hugh Nickel or Pop, I don't know, because she definitely clarifies that she's also in love with Hugh Nickel here. She confirms it here, that she's in love with Hugh Nickel. If they want to go the route of the whole, well, Mom's going to choose Hugh Nickel over Pop, you know, I'm cool with that. If Mom tells, hey, Meryl really likes you, I think you should give her a chance and stuff like that. You know, the only way I could see it is if everybody's happy, Dai gets Leona, Mom gets Hugh Nickel, Meryl gets Pop, or Pop gets Meryl, you know, something like that. I ultimately believe Pop and Mom will probably have one more discussion after this final battle. They'll talk it over. Mom will essentially say, I'm in love with you. I'm not pulling you along this time. I see you as a man, and stuff like that. And maybe that's when we get the big moment. She kisses him just to get it over with, and she just runs off because she's too flustered and stuff like that. We'll see. I did not like the kiss angle. I'll say that. I don't care. I hate that. Man, if that was me, you take the chance of the lifetime. Just kiss the girl and get over with, because you never know if you're going to kiss her again. Anyways, that's it. This episode was great. I enjoyed it. other than Mom pulling Popp along, but whatever. It is what it is. I guess I'll just have to wait on that story point. So that's love story is gonna be put on hold for now. As long as I see a kiss between Di and Leona, that will make my day. I don't care. That's fine. I need a kiss between Princess and future hero. That's all I need to know. Are Leona finally confessing to Di that she's in love? Good. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. If you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode of Dragon Quest Adventure of Di. What are your thoughts on the whole mom Popp expression thing? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you cool with it? Again, do not post spoilers if they actually do end up hooking up. I don't want to hear. I want this to be a complete surprise to me. If I could do a reaction to this freaking episode, I would, but I'm not trying to get copyright stricken by Toei, so no. As well as hit that subscribe button. You want to get more Dragon Quest Adventure of Di content, as well as anything else I upload to the channel. But other than that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, guys, stay safe out there, guys. See you guys in the next video. Peace.